still my town. My town.
Welcome back to Connecting Clarkston. We are in Season 3, Episode 13. Katie and I this morning are sitting down with Tonya Cunningham from the Clarkston Coalition, which not to be confused with other do-good groups in Clarkston. And we're going to learn all about the distinction and what you guys do. But first, welcome to our show. Thanks for being here.
Yes, thanks for having me.
You're
I'm
welcome.
excited.
I feel like we've been talking about getting you on for
years.
Yeah, 2 years, like since the beginning. So
12 years now. It's
yes.
Tell us first about your connection to Clarkston.
As I kind of mentioned earlier in our conversation, I don't know where it starts, and I don't know where it's going to end. I personally grew up in Waterford. However, I met my husband, and we moved, when we got married. And however, my maiden name is Vandermeer. So Vandermeer is a, local name here. And so I do have connections since the very beginning with Clarkston and doing different things. But I raised my kids here. My kids are all graduates of Clarkston High School, and they're all over. I've got one in South Carolina and one in the north part of Ohio. And then my son went to Tennessee for trade school training, and then he's back, and he's currently right now in Grand Rapids. Okay. So,
Yeah. So you always had a connection.
Yeah.
But didn't grow up here, and now you're back, and you raised your kids here. So there's just always this weaved in portion of your life that was connected here.
And I always feel that Clarkston is, you can go to the grocery store and run into a family member, someone that you used to live next to, someone that you had Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts, some type of coaching, thing. We're all connected some way, shape, or form.
That's our tagline.
Yes.
That should be, because I totally agree. Yeah. My mom we used to always laugh because my mom, every time she was at Kroger, we had a big family, so she was there like every day. And every single day, I ran into so-and-so. It was like that. It was the social place. It was in the aisles of Kroger. And that's still true 35, 40 years later.
Yeah.
But I think it is like that small town feeling, even though it's gotten bigger and things have changed, but it does have that small town charm still.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I kick myself sometimes when I just run in to go get eggs or milk or bread or something simple, and you don't always look the best, and so then you run into 10 people.
Right.
Oh my goodness, I should put makeup on. So
exactly. Well, okay. So tell us about what is the Clarkston Coalition.
The Clarkston Coalition has been around since 90s, actually 1996. And we're basically a nonprofit that does prevention. That's as the simplest as it gets. Technically, our name has for youth in it, so it's actually Clarkston Coalition for Youth. However, we don't just cater to the youth. We are kind of gearing towards every resident in the vicinity. But then also, if you work, you don't have to live here, to take some of the benefits of our great little township. But, it's really everyone. If you work, you live, you drive through, we want it to be a prevention area. So that could be kids not getting into risky behavior, having prevention for the senior citizens of our area. Maybe that's, prescription management, The older we get, the more pills we get, the more medications we get. And so sometimes, people can overtake something and it could cause a problem, and it could be done by accident. Or little ones, our children, might grab something that they shouldn't. I get stories all the time where I had something on my night table, and my granddaughter, who was 3 years old, picked it up and ate it. I don't know what to do. Poison control, now you're on the way to the hospital. So
is it a lot of education-based programming?
Yeah,
okay.
and getting what people need.
Okay.
A lot of times I get phone calls, I have a kid, I've got this issue, where do I go?
Okay.
So a lot of time I have to kind of stay on top, of different counseling centers that open up, which, probably in the past 10 years, we've almost doubled in that.
Yes.
And so if you look at some of the pages of these different counseling and different medical facilities, they'll say what they specialize in. So you kind of got to know that.
Yes.
If you have an issue with anxiety or depression, you know, ADHD, a trauma that's happened, you know, a lot of times you need to know who specializes in what and who can give this kid the best care and the best help that they get.
So you're like a resource center for
Yeah.
all sorts of things. And
But the older I get, it goes away.
Exactly. I hear that. So it's a resource center, and then, so where are you guys located in a physical building? How does how does
We're
it
a
operate?
nonprofit. So basically, we have one full-time employee. She's a local parent here in Clarkston also. She's actually a local real estate agent, actually. And she is our full-time staff member. And so we kind of operate out of our homes. That's how it's always been.
And what is her name?
Stacy Anderson.
Stacy
Yep.
Anderson. Because I do see Stacy at like the nonprofit roundtable. I feel like she's really out representing and trying to make
Yeah.
connections and involved through that. So, okay, go ahead.
Yeah.
Are the rest volunteers or part-time employees?
So no, we have no other employees. So we have one full-time employee. That's kind of what our grant or what we're funded for allows, because we have to, you know, do different programs and workshops and stuff like that throughout the community. But everything else is kind of volunteer. So, you know, we're actually kind of doing a push for volunteering. During COVID, we kind of lost a few volunteers, and then we've had some stay on, but some of them have moved away.
Okay.
Like one of our board members moved to Fenton, you know, and now is getting more involved in that. We had another one move to her parents in Florida. So, you know, they're still staying on because we need them and they still care about the community. I say no matter if you go anywhere, you always come back to Clarkston, you know, whether it's to visit or to raise your family. So it's really unique that we still have people that are living other places, but, you know, still being a part of the coalition. So.
Wow. And how long have you been involved with this?
So I kind of came on, my middle daughter was in kindergarten and we had a bullying issue. And
Okay.
so as a parent, I'm up 2 o'clock in the morning Googling, and one of the resources that I used was from Clarkston Coalition. So I got involved as a volunteer and then did it like 1 or 2 things, and then I think community organizer at the time was stepping down, and I got hired for the position. So it was really one of those serendipity type of things.
Now, is there a Waterford Coalition? Is this in other areas? Okay.
And then do you guys partner with them? And
All the time.
okay.
So our funding comes from kind of the state and the federal government. So we get funding from different sources that filter into OCHN, Oakland County Community Health Network, and then they give to a umbrella organization called the Alliance, and they were started like 2003, and basically they are kind of the umbrella organization for all coalitions. So there is a coalition for North Oakland, which is Oxford and Lake Orion, and then there's one in Waterford, there's one in Holly, there's actually a Genesee County coalition because they have not branched out to have individual areas, but Madison Heights, Troy, Royal Oak, pretty much every area in Oakland County has a coalition that they're connected to.
Okay.
Do you guys do shared events too with all of these other coalitions? Like what types of events do you guys get involved with?
They do county events because again, it's, you know, county-wide. So we'll do different races throughout the year, depending on if it's to do Narcan training,
Okay.
Save a Life training. And so it depends on where it is, but normally it's somewhere on 75 type of exit. So, but all of our coalitions meet once a month to kind of share and get training. And then we partner up with different organizations, especially us. We partner up on different things, like when we do the Lake Orion Clarkston game. So we'll partner up with, you know, the Lake Orion area coalition and do something at the game.
Okay.
We've hosted them here and with like a table and set up at that game. And Waterford, we're looking at doing a couple trainings with them the next fiscal year, which starts in October. So, we try to partner up as much as we can, not only to save money, but to kind of pull people together and reach more individuals.
Yeah. And this may be going backwards, but when you say prevention, are there specific things we're trying to prevent? Like I should have asked that to begin.
So basically with any type of grant, there's requirements. Mm-hmm. So we actually have to have so many face-to-face outputs, basically. And so we have a core group of items that we have to kind of focus on, and then we have an overall wellness one that we have to focus on. So a lot of them have to do with underage drinking, suicide, prescription drugs, and vaping is another one. Vaping and marijuana are actually together. And then we have, buzz driving is drunk driving. That's a 21 and up. Our downtown area is fantastic, but it's also social drinking. So we want to make sure that people are educated, the businesses are educated. We have a lot of restaurants and that are very busy, especially starting like Thursday night to Sunday. You got to wait 20, 30 minutes to get in. So it's, we're busy. Yeah. So we want to make sure that people are being responsible.
Okay.
So, and then we also have some that have to do with connecting with other organizations, partnering up, figuring out what the community wants or needs. And, we actually right now have a survey out that wants to get feedback from the community. So anyone who's a resident in Clarkston, they can go to our social media and click on the link and do the survey.
Okay.
So, yeah.
And you said you talked a little bit about events. So are there main events that you guys every year, like an annual whatever, or is it just sort of go with the flow with what's the need base?
I kind of say that we try to do some things annually, and then it depends on what's going on. There's a lot of different components that go into kind of what we do. But a lot of it is what the parents are feeling or what we see is going on. And, we kind of work with Oakland County Sheriff's Department. We work with churches. There's a lot of input and feedback that we get on what's going on.
What is the main things right now?
Do you know what?
Are you kind of focused on?
It's truthfully, it's really our mental health.
Okay.
And that's what parents are struggling with. How to help their child when their child's saying nothing's wrong.
Okay.
And they're seeing changes. We do every year. Well, I shouldn't say every year, but we work with leadership. We work with the kids here at the high school, and recently, for the past 3 or 4 years, we've been working with the marketing group here, and I think you guys have too.
Yes.
But we have them kind of pick out a topic, and then they kind of do a little campaign for us with social media content, pulling out what they feel is important as part of our demographic. I say we really don't have a target market. However, each program or each little cohort is its own target market.
Yeah.
So we work with them, and they kind of come up with different topics or different spins on underage drinking. We had a girl that did a sole project on MAD, which is Mothers Against Drunk Driving.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now that has been around forever.
Yeah.
And she didn't know anything about it. So she said it was really cool to learn about this organization, the history, and why it was started. So it was really cool to kind of get that glimpse of, we opened her eyes to something new.
Yeah.
So
it is interesting because even when we were talking before we started this episode, some of those programs that have been around for, you mentioned D.A.R.E. I mean, D.A.R.E. was a huge thing. Yep. I know I fondly reflect on Deputy Hernandez, who was always in the school. And now if you're lucky, you might have a D.A.R.E. shirt, or you could get a D.A.R.E. shirt. But I could see how MAD, that's been around forever, some of these organizations that we're so familiar with as adults and parents, that probably kids in high school maybe are not as familiar with. So that's interesting.
And speaking of D.A.R.E., we were actually created, the Clarkston Coalition was created out of D.A.R.E.
Okay.
back in '96. So it was D.A.R.E, and then we started a task force,
Okay.
you know, of being a drug-free committee or a community. And so it's really unique to kind of see how we've progressed. And I think it was like 97, 98, we changed over to, you know, Clarkston Coalition for Youth, and we're going to do all of these things, not just focus on drugs.
Okay.
So.
And speaking of all these community initiatives, how would you like our community at large to be more involved in the Clarkston Coalition?
Well, I mean, like any nonprofit, I mean, I've been in the volunteer world for many years, and like any nonprofit, we need volunteers. We need people who, you know, are passionate about their community, passionate about their kids, you know, or passionate about just prevention, you know. We need them to step up and volunteer. You know, we're going to be transitioning some board members. And so one of the events, I do not have a date yet, but one of the events that we're going to do is kind of like an open house, like mini training to kind of explain like the history and what we do and how we are standing here today type of thing. And that's going to be like the middle to end of September. I know September's, you know, really crazy with football and back to school and all of those, you know, back to school nights. But we're going to have it. It will be about an hour, you know, and hopefully we'll get some interest. We've been doing kind of a campaign on social media that has sparked some interest. I've had great conversations with a whole bunch of people. So hopefully, you know, we'll have, you know, a good turnout for this event. So stay tuned. So the date will probably be on social media.
Okay.
Hopefully by the end of the week. So.
What is that social media, and where can people find more information about the Clarkston Coalition?
We're on all social media. So the Snapchat, we are on Instagram, we are on Facebook, we are on Twitter, and we do have a website. So it's clarkstonyouth.org and Clarkston Coalition on all the social medias.
You had mentioned the Narcan training. Do you guys then partner with some of the fire departments, police departments as well? Like, how does that, are they involved with you guys? Are you involved with them in any way?
So yes and no. So the Narcan training that's put on is actually part of our umbrella organization, Alliance. And so they have trained people to not only do the training, but also our crisis response team that is partnered with Oakland County Sheriff's Department. So it's a specific team that goes out into the community to do the actually rescuing type of component. And then the training is put on by either, it's like a committee of people. So it could be one of the crisis response teams or a training officer.
So it seems like it's just, so I can get my brain around, like if you're having, let's say you're struggling with an issue personally and or with one of your kids and you're seeking resources, then you would be a good stop for all of these things. So, because then you then funnel, and you guys have your own pool of resources where you can direct people. Is that kind of how to think of it?
Yeah. And the unique thing is I started working for Honor Community Health, and so it's a Oakland County only health center. And so I have access to resources, and not just in our area, because I had a mother who lives out like Highland area, and she was looking for help, but her son is in football, I think in Waterford, but then does a baseball team in Clarkston. And so Clarkston is like Tuesdays and Thursdays, and Mondays and Wednesdays were Waterford, and she needed somebody to help with her daughter who had trauma. So I'm like, okay, we need to do this. This is where you can go in Waterford. It's only, you know, down and around the corner from Mott, and then we've got, you know, this one in Clarkston, and it's literally on the same road as the baseball. Okay. So, do you know what I'm saying? It's I try to
being aware of all of the different.
Because I've been that parent. Do you know what I'm saying? I mean, it's one of those things where if you have got an issue, whether it's caring for our parents, you know, or dealing with a child whose, you know, response is, I'm fine.
Yeah.
You know, it's one word answers, and you know that something's not right. Or you, like I've been in situations where I'm standing at my counter and I get into a conversation with a group of teenagers, you know, and you need you need answers. You need help. How do you navigate that situation? You know, besides going and having a conversation with the parents.
Yeah.
You know, if they allow. Do you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
it's this really unique dynamic. And
I feel like you're a helper to all problems.
I try
which
to.
That feels vast. That feels like a big thing,
Yeah.
but also a really nice community resource, because I think a lot of times when you have these issues coming up, right, you know nothing about it, you're not familiar with what's out there and what the organizations are that could help you.
Yep.
So that does feel.
And sometimes I will even go, the one that I was speaking about earlier who had the little girl, I actually called some of the facilities.
Okay.
Do you take her insurance? You know, what's available? She's going to call you.
Yeah.
Type of thing. So, and I'm very big on that. Like, I try to call back. I try to text back, and people know that they can really call me. Like, I might not answer at 3:00 in the morning. It depends on what your ringtone is.
Right.
But you know, I definitely do that follow through.
Okay.
Because it's hard. It's when you're really having a problem and it's gnawing at you.
Yeah.
You know, like you got to fix it.
Yeah.
Because especially us as moms, we have to like fix the problems. So, you know, I try to follow up as best I can, and Stacy too. She's really great at that, and I love her so much because she is soaking in all of this knowledge that, like, sometimes you got to do it to understand it, and so she has just been a great asset and a great resource to Clarkston.
So I know you were talking about the event that you're going to have coming up in September that you don't quite have a date for.
Yeah.
I think September 5th is the tailgate event that you guys are part of. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
So the Clarkston Education puts it on. I think it's actually Clarkston Community Education, but Community Ed. They have been doing this. I don't even know what our annual date is, but basically when it started, it was, you know, let's get families to come together. It was kind of right outside of COVID. So it was kind of like, let's do this. Let's kind of ramp up being together.
Yeah.
And so we started it. We had some like yard games. They wanted a DJ. They wanted it to be a tailgating event. And so we said, we'll help, you know, we'll sponsor, you know. And so we've been a part of it since the beginning. And it's an enjoyment to do it every year.
And it's a free event for
Yes,
the
for the
public,
community.
which is cool.
Yeah, and I tell everybody, try to get there as early as you can, because if you know Clarkston football, there's no parking spots.
Yeah, it's a big
And you got,
event.
and if you've got a 4-wheel drive, so you can park on the hills, you know, that's the best. But yeah, it's a really cool event, and there's a lot of different partners that have kind of come on throughout the years, and so it's really unique. And you also see like families literally got their tailgates down, camping chairs, eating. You know, we have special kind of presentations from the cheerleaders and the dance teams, so which is kind of cool. We have Wolfie there, so it's just a really cool event, and it's always a really good attended game.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
it's
Well, that's fun.
It'll be a fun night.
And it's a way like to celebrate as a community, you know, and it's
Yeah.
really cool. And it sounds like what your organization does is like, it's like a wraparound service, like, you know, especially when you're in trauma or you're feeling like you personally or your kids are in trauma, you don't always have the capacity to seek out those resources.
Right.
So it's like a one-stop, sounds like to me like a one-stop shop, like, okay, we've got you.
Yeah.
You know, let us wrap around. And it's cool because it's pouring back into our community, and
Exactly.
you know, it's only good.
Yeah.
So
And then
that's
I think
amazing.
later in September you had sent some information about your Great Gatsby fundraiser event.
Yeah.
Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so Honor Community Health is a nonprofit. Again, we're a 501c3 in Oakland County. We've got over 20 locations. And our Great Gatsby is we've never done a fundraiser.
Okay.
So we are holding it on the 27th of September at the Lafayette Grand. And you know, tickets, if they go to honorcommunityhealth.org, they can go to the donate page and kind of learn all about it and all the sponsors that we have. But it's going to be a great night. Costumes are encouraged.
That's fun.
And that's for Honor. That's
Honor Community Health.
Honor
Yeah,
Community Health, okay.
it's basically just to kind of help some of the initiatives that we have going on.
Okay.
So we've got we partnered up with Oakland County. We have a walk-in center right at the bend of Woodward, and we've got different programs. So we just try to cater, again, how I kind of roll my life is you cater to everyone and making sure that they have what they need. So.
Fantastic.
We had talked about this at the beginning, I think before we started filming too, but we were discussing how Clarkston Coalition has a card in our Clarkstonopoly board game. So if anybody has the game, you'll have to associate Tonya with that card and her work with the coalition. I think the card is kids ran out of gas and you gave them Clarkston Coalition gave them a gas card.
Yeah. No, we don't do that legitimately. Yeah. But Katie and I, when we were trying to brainstorm, we were like, what? And so that was kind of what we settled on. So it's really, really cool.
It's helping when you need it. Right?
Yep.
Yeah. So that's a good example.
I went to an open house this year, and it was the first one I've ever seen in person. But they got like a shadow box, and they put gift cards and money in the shadow box and had little tags on, when you need a pick-me-up, or when you're studying late, or when you need spending money. It was really cute. So I was like, that is a really good idea. I wonder who can make that for me, because I don't have time.
Oh my gosh.
And you have a graduate, don't you? Are you moving one of your kids to college?
So all of my kids have graduated high school, and they are
Were
all
you
over
just
the place.
moving
I was
somebody?
moving her in, yeah. My middle daughter goes to Coastal Carolina and South Carolina.
Okay.
And so, it's always a trip when we move them in, especially when you have to drive 700 miles to go there. So, so we got her in because she started a job on campus.
Okay.
So she had to get there early.
Yeah.
So, and again, moving in.
You're busy.
Yeah, it's crazy.
You're busy, but you can call or text at 3 a.m.
Yes.
Yep.
She may or may not answer you right away.
Yep.
Change your ringtone if it doesn't work the first time.
Yep.
Well, it's been good learning about, getting more information about the Clarkston Coalition, because I feel like we hear about it, but it's good to hear understand it and get a better idea. And again, where's the best place for information? For more information?
For more information about our organization, go to clarkstonyouth.org.
Okay.
We stay on top of our social media, especially our Facebook page. And I do want to do to any of your listeners, we have, if they've got a senior this year, one of the things that the Clarkston Coalition does is put together a private page for senior parents, guardians, students to kind of stay on top of all the deadlines.
Oh, okay.
That's interesting.
So yeah, we've been doing it. I was not going to do it this year, and then I had a mom call me, go, can you do it?
So wait, explain that
Yeah, I
again.
have a senior this
oh my
year.
goodness.
So
So
listening.
Okay. Well, and that's the thing with Facebook, you only invite your friends. And so I've been out since 2024 of the circle. So it's kind of one of those things where I don't have any, I might have one or two that have, friends that are, students graduating, but basically there's a senior page, and it's class of, RHS, CHS, I don't remember which one's first. I try to change it up.
So you're the one that runs this page? Okay,
Yeah.
I'm aware of that.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, but basically we had started, so going back to earlier about the senior celebration. So years ago, when Facebook started allowing groups and pages and stuff like that, we came up with a senior celebration page, and that was changed, as the board changed. And so then, there was some downtime on it, and we weren't, kind of active on it as we should have. And so when, I think it was 2018, we started just a small parents group, to kind of keep us accountable, really. And I think one of the ladies was adamant, every email that you guys got that was senior related, it went on this. It was very, and that was kind of back in 2018.
Okay.
And then, 2020 happened. And that was kind of people were not getting emails, and this was a great way to kind of share that information.
Yes.
And so we kind of helped with that. And then we've been kind of setting it up and running it.
Oh, it's a place to check in if you have a senior, with
Yeah.
all the stuff that happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, one of the funny things is Senior Sundays. if you've had seniors, you know what they are, you already start doing them. And then if you've never had a senior, you know, what is it?
Yeah.
What do I do? How do I do it? And so we try to just put tips. I also have, depending on page to page or year to year, I'll have somebody go, I have pallets that I used for my daughter's open house. Who wants them?
Yeah.
You know, or I ordered popcorn bags that have 2020 whatever on them, or, you know, this person's name on them.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
sorry, we've been talking so much. But it's really cool because, I just post it. If it's not a year-based thing, I post it on the other page. Hey,
Yes.
you know, this is what you do. If I get a coupon, like from Shutterfly,
Yes.
Right.
get your invitations.
Yeah.
You know,
No,
get,
or even
print
tent
out the
rental.
scene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it's like going through all these things that you've never gone through before,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
you
So
know,
it's
having
just
a little
kind of,
guidance.
you know, and there's a lot of emotion, you know, that you're going to go through this year. And I have had every emotion because I had a child at every kind of level within Clarkston. I had somebody that did the accelerated, you know, DEEP program with U of M, the
Dual enrollment.
yeah, dual
Yes.
enrollment. And then I had a daughter that was, you know, just wanted to get straight A's in all of her classes. And then I had a son who did the tech program. So
Yeah.
he was at the Bailey House building that. You know?
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's very unique of what Clarkston offers. And so, you know, it was kind of unique how everything, my experiences were all different between each child.
Yes.
So I kind of try to post articles, you know, things that we should do, things, you know, that you're going to feel, you know, type
you're-
of thing.
Well, it's like you're passing along wisdom, but also resources.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's like just something, it's a nice thing to do, you know, to help the next person.
Well,
So,
especially the families that this is their first graduate.
Yeah.
Yes.
So,
yeah.
yeah.
Oh, you do. I feel like your tagline should be like, Tonya, the resource Cunningham.
Yeah,
Can we
yeah.
change that? Like,
Yeah.
Can we do that?
I don't know.
All things.
Some people call me the Jill of all trades.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
Feels correct.
so yeah.
It feels correct.
If you need a plumber, I got a plumber. If you need a construction worker, I got, like,
I got
you
you.
need it, I'll hook you up.
Awesome. All right.
Well,
Well, we're
thank
glad we
you.
met.
Yeah,
I
thank
know.
you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
And thanks for coming and telling us all about that. And like, now we all know
Yes.
to call you at 3 a.m. or anything, but not really at 3 a.m.
Yeah.
But yeah, we appreciate what you're doing and the service that you provide for our community.
Yes,
That's
thank you.
fantastic.
Thank you.
Yeah, you guys too.
Thanks
Thank
for
you.
being
Thank
here.
you.
This podcast is brought to you by Independence Television, located inside Clarkston High School. The views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of Independence Television, Independence Township, or Clarkston Community Schools.